Okay, well, I'm live. I decided to do this again. So, one thing that I realized that I kind of missed out on the last stream was to show how the data was structured. So I figured I'd go into that. So, I mean, first off, we go into the storage module. You'll see it's going to pick the home directory, and then in config BDP data, and then whatever the name is, .json, that's where it's going to be stored. Now, this is going to change if I decide to actually make this a legit, package people can install off of NPM. Just because if they install it on a Windows machine, it's not going to work. So I need to figure that out. But I'm not worried about it right now. Anyway, let's see here. So let me expand. So if we go into config, BPD, let's see here. Be in here. BDP. Oh, that's my fault. Whoopsies. Let me actually to BPD. PD into, because it's supposed to stand for bills and payday. Paydays. So we go into data. Okay, so we got those two, bills.json and paydays.json. Let me real quick, while I'm thinking about it, fix that. That should not be the case. That should be BPD. Like so. Okay. So, this data, we look at the bills. So, you can see that we have an array of objects. Each object has a name, an amount, a due, and a grace period. So the name is just the name of the bill. Amount is just the dollar amount, without, as a number. The due date is the day of the month that it's due. So this is due the 1st of the month, 15th of the month, 16th, 26th, all of that stuff. And then the big reason why I created this grace period, or this grace key for each object, is because there's certain instances where this isn't automatically pulled out of my, checking account. And so if it lands, say this is due the 1st, but I don't get paid until the 3rd, I don't care. I can wait that long. I can wait up to 5 days. It's not that big of a deal. I could probably make this one larger, but for some of the other ones like these that have 0, those are pulled automatically out of my account. So they should respect, when I get paid. So if we look at paydays, this one just has a year, a month, and a day. So these are all of the paydays for the year 2019. Now, eventually I want to make something that will allow me to kind of delete ones that aren't needed after a while. I would say like after a month, you don't need the older ones. So like a lot of this I don't need. Like these I really don't need. So that's something to think about later on. But I realized I didn't show the data structure of how that stuff works. Close out of that. We don't need that. Okay, so the last time we ended up getting the list command to work as well as the bills command to work. Now I want to clean this up, and also I realized that this does have a validity. So if we look at the modules and we look at the router of what it looks at, there's this valid thing and then it returns invalid. That part, I was like, oh, I don't need that, but I do, because if you don't have any bills and if you don't have any paydays, it shouldn't list those options. So, yeah. So, how do we want to do this? Okay, so we need a valid function, and we need an invalid function if this does not return true. So this one, actually, real quick, I'm gonna open up the project that I was referencing. Yep, that's fine. Okay, yeah, okay. So in this case, we're going to grab the bills. Oh, well, first off, we need the classes for each. Yep, lib, classes, bills. We need paydays. Oops, is that there? There we go. Lib, classes, and paydays. And then for each, we need to instantiate them. So paydays equals new bills, or new paydays, like so. Otherwise it won't bother me. So now we just need to see if we have any of those. So so let's do return length and paydays dot read dot length. So now we're saying, hey, if there is, you know, bills and there are paydays, at least one of each, you're good. So if not, we'll do a warning. So in this case, man, I guess it would be good to figure out which one is lacking and then adjust the, you know, what it tells you is wrong. So I guess what we can do is we can do bills amount, and we can store these. And we can do paydays amount, paydays dot read dot length. Yes, I am super anal about where where equal signs are. So we got bills amount and we have paydays amount. Okay, so in this case we could figure out which one's which, right? So we could say so if there is no bill amount, sorry, changing the song. I don't like songs with lyrics while I'm trying to code. Okay, so I guess this will be like the bills message. So if there's no bill amount, it will just have bills, otherwise nothing. We're gonna have paydays message, no paydays amount. Okay. Oops. That. So yeah, bills.message, paydays message. so then we're gonna have an output. I guess in this case it can't be end, right? Because you could have just paydays in there and this list command would still work. So this did not need that. So this needs to become or. Well, we'll leave that as is for now. So we got this Bill's message, paydays message. So we'll filter out the empty strings, and then we're gonna join it together. So in this case, it'll say something along the lines of like, have any whatever to list. Something along those lines. You don't have any, so bills to list, paydays to list, or bills or paydays to list. So I guess in this case we're gonna join it by an or like that. And then we will have an output. Like so. So in this case, nothing should change because this should be fine because we do have both of those. Well, granted, we do not have paydays. That's just gonna fail because it doesn't exist, which we will fix tonight. But what we need to do is we need to test this. Okay, so let's go into where we were before. Data. So let's copy bills.json to backup.json. And let's copy paydays to paydays.backup.json. So now we should have two instances. Okay, so let's edit bills.json. And basically we just want to get rid of all of this. Like so. Okay, so in this case, we have no bills but paydays. So this should still work, hypothetically. So we run that again. Good, but we don't have any bills. So it can still work. Get out of that. Let's go back to this. Okay, so then let's edit the paydays.json. Same thing here. We're gonna delete all of these. Save. Okay, so now, if we did this correctly, you don't have any bills or paydays to list. Well, I guess in that case, it's always going to be, because this is an or, either or has to be true. So it's always gonna say, the only time that this doesn't work is if you don't have either. So we don't even need any of this logic. So we can do bills or paydays to list. We can get rid of all of that. Completely useless. The linter's freaking out because there's no reason for us to have that string. So, okay. And yeah. Seems about right. So this, yeah, it's gonna say the same thing without all that stupid logic. Yes, I mean, I guess we could just, because we're not actually getting the data from this, we could just do, you know, instantiate it, read it, get the length, and we can infer what it's talking about from, you know. Yep, do that. And we could just do bills, paydays, just to simplify it a little bit. So, oh, yeah. Back over. We don't need crazy long variable names. Okay, so for the questions, in this case, we're getting that from the registry, the command registry. However, we're not actually checking to see if we have any bills. So in this case, we need to filter out the choices depending on that is interesting. I mean, it's definitely possible. We can do this. Require lib classes bills paydays lib classes paydays. So in this case, we actually do need to. Well, no, we don't actually need the data. We just need to see if there are any. So it's the same thing. It's a shame I have to do it twice, both for the questions as well as this. Right? So for the questions, there could be a potential way where we could actually inject this data into this function and somehow pass it to this so it resolves with that data in it. But like, you know, like if this was a function that we could pass in bills and paydays, because we just need the amount as well, it would resolve to just regular data. You know what? We could do that because this is its own thing. Because I don't like the fact of like pulling this stuff in. So in this case, right? So we would need a function. Takes bills and paydays. And it's going to resolve to this. Like so. Okay, so in this case, so we're finding the list action, which is, you know, list in the registry. Then we're getting its types. So here, we need to filter if filter how do we want to do this? I think I want to okay, so this is going to come so we're going to have a filter by resources. And this itself is going to return a function to run. So we need a resource to check against. And then a key. Filter by resource, and we just have a filter command. You can return that filter command as is, and then in here we have an entry, and we only want to return that entry So if the entry dot name equals the key, I guess we could just call that name, as well as if there is a resource available. So if there are any bills or if there are any paydays. Filter action types if there's an available resource for a given name. Yep. So in this case, we want to filter by resource, and we're going to give it bills and as that name. And then we're also going to filter by resource. We're going to give it paydays and paydays. So actually, because this is so long, do one of these where everything's on a separate line so we can see what we're doing. Okay, so now this should still not work because we don't have anything. Now it should work if we remove paydays and move paydays.backup.json to paydays.json. Okay, so now we should just have paydays.json. Yep. And if we look at it just to make sure, we're good. All right, so now if we run it, oof. Okay. Because, man, that is rough. I see what's happening there. So because there's no bills, and that's the first one that we're doing, well, regardless of what order we do it in, because there are no bills, it's just gonna filter it out. I guess we can we technically wrap that like this and then do, or, well, no, I don't think that'll work. Entry.name is not equal. I don't think that'll work. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, so, I mean, that's not gonna work, but yeah. So now we just have paydays because that's the only thing that we have. So that will still work. And then if we go in here and we remove bills.backup.json, and we move, whoops, no, not bills.backup, Jesus, I don't want to lose that. And move bills.backup to bills.json. So if we look at that now, yep, we're good. Okay. Now we run this. We're gonna get both. Cool. So actually, yeah, I'm pretty happy with that, just because we should check it the other way around just in case. Copy paydays.json to, yep, paydays.backup. We're gonna vim paydays.json just to make sure it works the other way around. I'm not really sure. I'm hoping it'll still work. Oops. Yeah. So that still works. Okay. Remove paydays.json and then flip flop them. Okay, so we're good. We're good there. Then we got the script. Now, I was talking about making these router functions or these router scripts to be a class, just because it has a class structure, and then I could get rid of like the commas and stuff. It would just be like class extends whatever. I still think I want to do that. But at least for these types of situations where the action is going to have its own script for you to select an action type, whereas the individual scripts, like for this one, no. It's so small, but then again, it's like it could be worth messing around with. The problem is that this would then have to be rewritten entirely to, yeah, that's a tough one. Because you need to call it, then instantiate it, then add that, you know, like, yeah. That is hard. I mean, I think that we can at least bootstrap this for any type of, like a action script, because they're all gonna do the same thing. They're going to return, they're gonna pass in the resource, and they're going to use that as, well, I mean, I'll leave it as is. I'd like to bootstrap it, but at the same time, I'm just thinking of like, well, there are certain instances where that's not going to work quite right. I think this is pretty clean as is. So get the type from the answers and script through the router. Anyway, all right. So we have this. And we do know that this is working. None or 5 days, 2 days, federal loans. An amount formatted to be like a money amount, and then the days that they're due. So I guess we just got to do the paydays, and then the list command is going to be done. So once again, this does not need we're just going to take this because it's not going to be that much different. We just need paydays, paydays, paydays. Rename this symbol to paydays. So each payday is gonna have a date. That's it. That's the only thing it's gonna have. So yeah, this one's gonna be super easy. So we literally just need a date in the head. Let's rename symbol to payday. Okay. And we need to, from the payday data, we need to get date. Because if we look at the classes, you can see that, oh no, that's its own thing. So we just need to get, yeah, we just need to get the date from here. Because the data is just gonna have what is the data from the JSON, that's it. So in this case, we just need const date equals payday.date. And we need this. We need date to date string. And this is just going to be, we'll just put date string just to make it easier. And we could do date string, the only piece of data in there. Here's a list of all of your paydays. The one thing that I haven't looked up is there a like, is paydays one word or two words? I honestly don't know. Anyway, I also just realized that if you don't have any paydays, but you run Bill's paydays, you're bypassing this, you're bypassing this validity. Okay, so yeah, okay. Oops, that needs to be renamed to script, otherwise it will not run. So we do need to have a, we need validity functions in here, but basically we need this. Now, because we're actually using other parts of this, we can do that. You do not, you don't have any paydays to list. And copy this, go here, let's paste that in. This is gonna be bills. This is gonna be bills. Cool. Now we can test that. CD into there. So let's copy, let's do it with paydays, right? So, yep. And then we can do this, get rid of all of these.
It's some new technique. Must be, but when did he learn to do that?
We can do that. So if we run this normally, right? Like if we just do beat, it's not going to list it. So it's not even going to give that to us as an option. But we can bypass that by doing that. But exactly. We want it to not give us the option if we're doing the just by action and not by action and type. But if we end up doing this, we can say, oh, you don't have any paydays to list. Cool. Okay, so that does work. So let's remove paydays and yep. Come back. So now if we run that exact same thing, it should work. Yep, date, and it just gives us a simple list. Cool. So we got the validity down pretty quick. A lot quicker than I thought. Now, does this need to be in a table? Probably not. I want to keep it consistent, you know, between the different commands, but at the same time, it's only one column, so it looks super goofy. I guess you could, instead of having one column, you could have two, and it could be like previous paydays and then upcoming paydays. I don't know. That is interesting. I want to do that because I know that I do want to have like I want an action which is upcoming or next, and then, you know, have bill and payday. So I can type in BPD next payday and then get whatever the next payday is. And that'll be a simple message. I mean, I guess we're returning the same data, right? Like, we're not doing anything different. So splitting this up into two columns probably, I'll leave it. I'll leave it as is. I think it makes sense, but at the same time, it's kind of weird because we just want to list the paydays. We just want to list the dates that we get paid, and that's it. So I don't know. That's a tough one, but at the same time, now in the registry of the command that I've been basing some of this stuff off of, this does also have a description, which is then used for the help function, which pulls from the registry and pulls all the descriptions and says, hey, you know, to list everything, you do this, to whatever. And I'll do that at some point. I'm not too worried about that, but I figured we can at least do maybe like the next and previous types with, or actions with their respective types for, you know, bills and paydays. And actually, for the time being, just to simplify this so I can really easily see what I'm working with here, I'm going to do that. So we do want to next and this is going to have its own types. And this is going to have bill. Name. Payday. And then we will have a previous as well. So we can literally just copy this object and just change next to previous. It would be kind of cool if we could kind of just like make this an array where it's like, hey, if these two, they have respective types. I'm not that worried about it. I do want to make it more literal. So, you know, when I have descriptions for each action and their types, in the help options, it'll make a whole lot more sense. So I'm not that worried about it, but anyway, I'm gonna take a quick break and then I will be back and I will code these two things. These should be really easy. They're literally just returning one thing instead of a list of resources. They still need the you know, like the valid and invalid functions on them, but they're going to be considerably easier to work with. So cool. I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. Hopefully my dryer running doesn't get picked up on the mic, but it's pretty far away, so I honestly don't think so. All right, so we want to start off with the next. So have a new folder, say next, and we're just gonna copy this, paste it in here, and we're gonna copy this. Okay. So, cause yeah, this is gonna have the same type of thing where we can't list the next payday or bill if there aren't any. So yeah, like what, like next of? What would you like the next of? That's just weird. What would you like, I'm trying to think, like, what would you like to see? Not next. That's upcoming, maybe? What would you like to see that's upcoming? And it would be a bill. I guess so the paydays, right? Like the paydays should return a singular thing. Or, you know, next payday, but the bills, how would you can't just be like next bill. Like, I mean, I guess you could say like what bills are coming up next, but you really want all of the bills. Yeah, I guess that is super weird. This should be bills. This should be bills, but this should be payday, and this should be payday, because this is an easy resource to be like, hey, find the next payday, find the previous payday, find the next bills that are due, like, and the dates that they're due. And yeah. Now, when I did this, we do have previously due, next due. So that's basically what we're going to be grabbing for the bills. I guess this could just be, you know, you don't have any bills or paydays. I guess you could say upcoming bills or paydays, because that is true. You don't have any bills or paydays in there. This is all basically the same. The question, select a resource to upcoming resource. It's the wording of this is super strange, but it is what it is. So we're gonna copy this one, paste that in there. So in this, it's just gonna be, we just want the name of the bill and next due, basically. You don't have any upcoming bills. Here's your upcoming. And we just need the name. And we just need next due. So that was right. That's. So. Okay, so if we now do BPD next, what would you like to see that's upcoming? That's, I gotta work that. Yeah, bills. Oh, I know exactly what the problem is, that we're doing this. Nope, that should be next. And this is also next. Whoopsies. Okay. Run that again. Next, bills. Yeah, okay. So, bill, next due, so phone insurance. All right. So, yeah, that's good. I'm thinking this should maybe be called upcoming instead of next, but I like next because it's order. So in this case, this is just going to be payday because we can easily show the next payday. Copy this over to here. And upcoming paydays. Here's your upcoming payday. And basically, okay, so basically we need to filter this. And then we don't even have to map through it. So let's just keep this. We also don't need table because we only have one thing that we're outputting. So we can get rid of that. So am I in an elevator of a Macy's? What, are you basing that off of the music? Look, I had to pick chill lo-fi copyright-free music in order to have music playing, and this is very close to what I listen to while I'm at work, but not quite. The stuff that I like is a little bit different than this, but yeah, I mean, this is the music that I listen to when I code because I don't want to hear music that has lyrics in it. Yeah. No, I know you're just messing with me, but it is weird. Like, but my thing is like, yeah, sometimes I'll listen to like synthwave or like outrun type stuff because a lot of that doesn't have lyrics in it, and I'll listen to that. But lo-fi and chill lo-fi stuff has been my go-to for a while. How are you, Jen? I'm not sure if I'm not sure how much of this is gonna make any sense to you, but if you're willing to just hang out and talk, that's cool. It'll probably bore you to death though, so don't feel bad if you want to leave. Okay, so basically we have a payday. And from paydays, we have to find, oh man, we have to find one that is the next due. Now, I believe, I don't know this for a fact. Okay, so find isn't going to sort them by date. Floor 3, please. Or, sorry. I'm baked and just, okay. None of it. I'm sure I'm dancing to the elevator music, man. I'm having a good time. Floor 3, please. I'm looking for some boots. Is this the one that you start? Yes, this is the one that I started all over again. This one's way more complicated than my, I can show it to you. This one's a little bit more complicated. So this is all for a command line tool that will calculate stuff for me. Now, I do have this backup. This is basically the thing that I was like, I need to make sure that this is a proof of concept. So my previous tool that I used, all I did was just say, hey, this is due the next of the month. And it would just say, this is upcoming. This is, this is what you have to save for this. This is what you have to save for that. And I was like, well, if I ever want to publish this and let other people use it, it has to be more like useful than that. So basically this tracks both paydays and bills, and it will automatically split a bill up between different paychecks. That way, like, I can, yeah. So there's bills data and then there's paydays data. If I, the bills, you can see each one has a name, an amount, a due date, so the day of the month, and then a grace period if I can let it slide for like a couple days or none, if it pulls out automatically. And then we have paydays, which is literally just year, month, day for the entire year of 2019. So the whole thing that's kind of complicated to try to split it up among different paychecks automatically for you. That way, if you get paid bi-monthly every week, it doesn't matter. It can split the bill up for you however it needs to. But I did get it to work with this backup index. This is the kind of the thing that I was starting out with, and I can actually run that. You can see the output. Node, yep, index.backup.
Well, here's the sleep shop.
Great. This changed and it didn't update itself. Okay. Let us try that again. Well, hold up. Let me get to something that has a little bit more space. DPD, CLI. No caps, thank you. Node. Yep, okay. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so this is gonna be a nice application at the end of the day, or is it just what you were typing out? No, this is what it's gonna do for me. So you saw that I just had a list of bills and a list of paychecks, and now it's saying to me, hey, your next due phone insurance is on August 1st, which costs $20. So you should set aside $10 on this paycheck and then finish it off on this paycheck. Yeah. And you can see that this one, because it has no grace period, it's just pulled out of my account automatically. There's only one in between, the next time it's due. So it's like, you gotta save it all now. And the whole thing is because the way I get paid is so weird where it's not always quite bi-monthly. Sometimes I'll get paid 3 times in a month. Yes, it was way more complicated in my mind. And then the more that I worked it out, the more I was like, oh, actually, this isn't that bad. But this is all to just make this an application that can work in multiple scenarios. regardless of how I get paid. But yeah, so the idea is that it will split it into however many paychecks it can. So if I get paid more per month, it can, you know, it can say, hey, you don't have to set aside half and half. Does it add up the total for both paychecks that you need to set aside? Does it add up the total for both paychecks that you set aside? Well, I mean, are you saying like for these individual parts? Yeah, like this and this will add up to that. It also will, if you notice, it will have you put more on the first paycheck and less on the next paycheck if it's not an even number to split up. That's a pretty nifty thing that I got to do. But no, the way that no, okay, what? No, but that could be something that I could add. The only reason that it doesn't is because of how my banking app works. I can create goals, which are like fake savings. And so I can set aside $5 and label it Spotify for the month of August. I understand what you're saying, where you could just put it into a savings or something and set it aside as one lump sum. No, not yet. I mean, this was the proof of concept, and now I'm fleshing it out into a full command line tool. But yeah, that's something that I would consider doing, because some people might, you know, set aside money for their bills that way. Unlike me, where I'm setting aside each individual piece in its own little like fake savings for each one. And yes, you are speaking English. I understand. But anyway, so what I have now is this command line tool that I can access from anywhere. So I don't even have to be in I could be on my home folder and I can type in BPD and it will allow me to do stuff. So the thing that I was working on yesterday is I can type list and it's gonna say, hey, what do you want to list? Bills or paydays? I want to list bills. And this just lists the bills and the information about them. Yeah, this is cool, but you were complicated. Yeah. So this, you know, shows previously due, next due, and a grace period. I can also just type in list bills and it'll do that. Or paydays, and that will just list all of them. The other thing that I'm working on is so I can type in next and I can see the next due bills. And I can also, there's also going to be next payday, which doesn't have anything right now, so it's going to break. And that's just going to show me my next payday. So it's going to say, hey, you're going to get paid this day. So that's what I was working on. So that's where these command folders come in. You have the next command. So if you just type in BPD next, it will give you a list of options based on what is available. And then from that, we have payday. So I don't think that this is the find I don't think is gonna work correctly. I think what we need to do is we need to filter it and then just pull the first one off the list. So at the end of this, shift, that's gonna pull and return the first one off the list. So this is where we can actually just pull the date attribute from each payday and we can say, hey, only return the dates that are greater than or equal to. Do we want it equal to? I'm not sure. Anyway, we'll just try that. We'll also just do a today variable, which will just be the current date. So of right now. And so yeah. That is gonna freak itself out. There you go. So in this case, we literally just want to console log the payday dot date. Well, what we can do is we can pull the date attribute as payday from this. Okay, there we go. Payday dot to date string. So get rid of that. So ideally, that should work. So if we run BPD next payday, yeah, here's your upcoming payday, Tuesday, July 16th, 2019. Cool. You should somehow make it so that it shows up on a calendar. I could probably do that. There's probably an NPM package that does it. Like for instance, the thing that makes it look all nice and table right here is a package that I didn't write. CLI table. I got it from the interwebs. So there probably is. I mean, I know that in like regular, yeah, like I know in regular terminals, there's a little calendar command. I'm on Linux, by the way, so that's why these commands and whatnot are the way they are. But yeah, I can almost guarantee there's a way of doing that. Wow, that's the whole point. When you when you're writing an npm module, you know, that's what this package.json is. You can pull in dependencies. So, a leak. No, what did you say? You can see right here, like chalk that does the colors. CLI table, and then inquire is the thing that's actually prompting the user for. So when I do this, and it's like, hey, select a resource, and I can use my arrow keys to select something. That's inquire. I'm not gonna write that. Like, if you look at how difficult that is, no way. Say it, Linux. What? I don't. Oh. Whoops. I was like, what are you talking about? Okay, so we do have next working. It'll list those two, and if we don't have either, it won't have that option. And then we can say next bills, and then we can say next payday, and get the next payday. Cool. So then we basically have a similar one to this. Let us copy this, paste it, rename this to previous, which I added to the registry. Yep. So previous bills, so when they were previously due, and the previous payday. You said Lee. Oh yeah, initially, yeah, because it looked like it said leak Nux. That's what I didn't realize. Yeah, once you put the dash in the middle, I understood how you wanted me to pronounce it. Goofy. Okay, so this one, we should rename this so it says previous bills or paydays. See, I don't know how to phrase this. Like, when I type in BPD previous, like, what should the prompt say? Like, I think even this makes no sense for the upcoming or the next one. And the only reason why I don't want to say bills or paydays is because depending on if you have either, the list will be different. And I don't feel like, I guess I could, you know, do it based off of that, but I don't really feel like doing that. Like you could do like what previous thing would you like to see? But like thing. Okay, you know what? I did use the terminology resource, so I could do that. Like what? What resource thing? What previous resource would you like to see? Okay. I think I like that, and you don't have any previous bills or paydays. Okay, so I'm actually going to change the text for the next command as well. What upcoming resource would you like to see? Okay. Cool. All right, so for bills, this literally only needs previously due, because that is smart enough to do that. And we can just say previously due, and we can rename that to previously due, and we should be good to go. Okay, so we should be able to do BPD previous. What previous resource would you like? Oh, well, that still says upcoming. Like a dingus. Previous questions. Select a previous resource. Ooh, that was a big flash of lightning. Please tell me money now. Thank you. Dot, dot. Okay, select a previous resource. What previous resource would you like to see? And then bills or paydays. So bills should say previously due. Yep, June 15th, June 28th, July 1st. Yep, that's all true. And then previous payday. Okay, well we gotta rename that. But it does. So here's your upcoming bills. Yep. Whoops. You don't have any previous bills. Here's your previous. Oh, did I? Good Lord. Did I really?
It really does sound like I'm just
I.
What a beautiful sound.
What the?
That's really something. It has a range to low A and up to high G. High G.
Oh God. Yeah, I did mess this up. Okay, let's copy that, because they're both named almost the exact same. Put that in there. Oops, we don't want to replace that because we got to copy that out of there. Let's cut that back here. Okay, this is correct. Do not mess with the next part. Here's your previous bills. Don't have any previous bills. Yeah, the rain is going whack outside. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's not as bad as the other day, but it's still pretty bad. Okay, that is true, but I know for a fact that this is not true because it's looking for next, and it should be looking for previous. This should be previous, which is kind of why I should have bootstrapped this, but okay. That one I haven't done yet. Bills. Yes, that is true, except, damn it. I totally borked this because I put it in the wrong spot. Next due. Okay, do not mess with next anymore. Previously due. Good Lord. Okay, BPD previous bills. Here's your previous bills. Previously due. Yep, that is true. All right. Then for payday, this one. What are you talking about? Previous bills yorked. You don't have any previous paydays. Which this actually could be true. Although I guess we really should base these off of like the way you were saying previous bills and then word. I guess based on this, like we only want this command to be valid if there are any previous, because like I do want to make this so it will delete older. It's an yeah. Like it probably should validate it based on if there are already previous ones to list. I guess there should always be some, but okay. So yeah, we just have to do that. The date is less than today, so oh yeah, because I'm shifting, I'm pulling the first one off the array, so it's kind of cutting it in half as of today, which is the 7th, and then it's picking the first one. So instead of the first one, we have to grab the last one. Oh, yep, there we go. Monday, July 1st. Cool beans. Cool. What we got list, next, and previous. Now, of course, there's going to be like an add, an update, a remove. That way I can just type in like add a bill, and then instead of having to do what I was doing before, which is like edit a text file in the terminal, I can just type in, you know, I can just type in like BPD add bill, and it's not going to recognize it, but you know, then I can add, it'll say like, what's the name of it? What's the amount? What day of the month is it due? And then is there a grace period on it? Same thing with paydays. As well as update a bill or a payday. You know, remove or delete. I don't know what I would call it, but bill, payday, something along those lines. And see if any stuff. I literally installed most of that yesterday, so it shouldn't be outdated by now. Well, I think that's all I really wanted to get done today, was just a handful of commands and fixing something that I did yesterday. I mean, of course, there's a lot more to do, but it's already been, what, an hour and a half? Maybe I'll do another command. I don't know what, though, because all of them are kind of more complicated. Like the add, remove, and update. Streamer, can you code me a girlfriend? Sure, we'll just hack into the matrix, you know, we'll just you know, we'll tell the computer, like, computer create girlfriend, and then we'll you know, we'll pass it some arguments. So like we'll have a face equals hot. We'll have a height equals well, we'll just put like 9 feet tall, so we'll just do 9 like that. We'll I want her to be able to break my spine. God damn it. I don't know why that just reminded me of the whole thing when someone, I think it was in Gail's chat, someone said get good. And I put this in the chat. Someone got it. I think it was Jorpin who got it. Wait, is there really a Git GUI? Ah, I don't have it though. Wait, is there really? I did not know that was a thing. What in the hell? GitLab, Git. Maybe there is. I don't know. Ah, whatever. Doesn't matter. Huh? Someone said in like, I think it was Gelstrom's chat, and someone was like, haha, get good. And they spelled it like that. And because I'm a developer, I use Git, which is a program in the terminal a lot. It's like a version control. So I just typed in get good and then copied this and then pasted it in the chat. And I think I made Jorpin laugh because he knew what I was talking about. Git sounds like a slur. Yeah. I mean, like, you've seen stuff like GitHub before, right? Like, or at least have heard of it. Yeah, GitHub. I mean, that's what, like, that's why it's called GitHub. This is what's called a remote repository. So I can work locally, version control all my stuff, and then when I'm done, I can push it up. Which is why, like, I have, doing a little plug here, I have my own GitHub account with projects that people can install. For instance, another terminal program that I wrote a while ago is Twitch Stream Check. So I could see who's streaming and who's not. You know, and yeah, this is the whole thing where I can, with Node, or with the Node package manager, NPM, this is an NPM module that is public. I can run this on my machine if you have Node installed. I think I already have it. Let me see. Yes, Twitch Stream Check, which is not, that was someone that I was demoing before. But yeah, you can see how many followers they have, what game they're playing, if they're partnered, when they started, title, and then how many viewers there. And then these flags, like if I do Twitch Stream Check -8, yeah, it'll tell you the flag, what it does. And the thing that's been bothering me is that so Twitch has changed their API and they're pushing for everyone to move over to it. And I started to rewrite this program to work with that. And everything works, literally everything in this list except this one, whether the streamer streams mature content or not. Which it's like, yeah, I could probably just easily remove that from the list because who's going to use it? But at the same time, because it had it before, there's no reason why I shouldn't have it in this upcoming version. So it pisses me off, but it is what it is. Yeah, and you can do... Whoops. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, I think I'm gonna head out just because the next commands that I gotta do are gonna be crazy, and Yeah, they're just gonna be nuts. Like, just way more complicated. Like, this is super easy. Actually, for the thumbnail. Am I still streaming? Is this still working? No, I hit the wrong button and I dropped myself into a TTY prompt and then I couldn't remember how to get out of it. Oh my god. I was like I don't know, what happened? Did the screen go black? Or did it just look the same, like I just kind of stopped talking? I have a key binding for taking screenshots, and I completely, instead of pressing Control-Alt-3, I hit Control-Alt-F3, which dropped me into a TTY terminal. No, it just froze. Yeah, all right. So if I do Control-Alt-3, there we go. Oh, I shouldn't have had my... Figure this out. There's screenshots. Move to track. Okay. Oh, okay, so that captured that. I guess I have to be in the screen to do it. Okay. Yeah, looks good. Move that to the trash. That. All right. Anyway, I'm gonna go. Thank you, Jen, for stopping by and hanging out for a little bit, even though this probably made no sense whatsoever. I hope you're having a good night, and I will talk to you tomorrow. All right, peace.